Wonderful. For our final Ignite presentation today, we have Libbie Armstrong from Chestatee Academy, the last postcard.
Welcome to the final Ignite session on the last postcard. My name is Libbie Armstrong, and I am honored to serve Chestatee Academy as assistant principal. So, building positive relationships in school climate are part of our both our assessments as teachers and leaders, and of course our 4 cornerstones. And I am here to reassure you that I am quite possibly the least likely source of information on this topic. So, have you ever had a child enroll and they come in and they have like a gazillion lines of enrollment and you think, oh, bless their hearts? That was me. My parents divorced when I was 3, and by the time I was a senior, I had lived in 21 different places, including 1 year here at Johnson, really amazing. But most of my time was out on the West Coast. Moving around a lot was really tough, and by the time I was 20, I was homeless, and I was going on a path that led nowhere fast. But I knew who could help me, and so July 3rd, I raised my hand to serve in the military. And if you didn't get a chance to watch Jeff Chandler's amazing Ignite session from last year on what the military teaches you about positive relationship building, they don't. But one thing I learned about myself is that I like to write, and that's a postcard from jump school in 1991. So my very first day on the job at Airborne School, they asked for the newest member to come cut the ribbon on a facility. And I went running down, and I did not salute the commanding general of all of Fort Benning. Way to go, Liv! Great start! I got off on the wrong foot, and fast forward a few years, I did the same thing at Chestatee Academy. I was caught up in the details, and I didn't remember what was most important. I thought, I just don't know how to do this. But with the help of a really supportive faculty, amazing administration, I went back and I figured out that relationship building has to be intentional. You have to hold yourself and others accountable, and don't miss an opportunity to build or repair a relationship. And so I started with the simple things. I smiled more. I walked down the hallway, I talked to people, but for some people, talking is really difficult. And in those conversations, face to face, I was always looking for an exit. Like right now, right there. I got it, right? Always looking for an exit. And I didn't mean to be rude or inattentive. That was my defense mechanism growing up. I was out of there. So I'm very appreciative that Chestatee Academy has some ways to recognize teachers that don't allow me talking face-to-face, like our hard hat nominations, where we recognize each other and we put them on the scrolling announcements all throughout the building. It's great. But what worked for me was writing. Little notes in boxes, notes on teacher's door, cards home. And in our content meetings once a week, our teachers write a postcard to students. The administration writes a postcard to the teachers on Friday. So Friday, April the 13th was a typical Friday. Need I say more than Friday the 13th in middle school, right? But we held each other accountable, and we sat at the little table and we wrote a postcard. And I chose to write mine to Pam Irvin. Here's what I knew about Pam Irvin when I wrote the postcard. Pam had a laugh that can span the length of the entire main hallway. She loved her husband Danny and her children Mitchell and Danette. She was eagerly awaiting the birth of a first grandchild. She would do absolutely anything for anybody at Chestatee Academy. And this is the postcard I wrote to Pam. What I couldn't have known was the day the postcard was mailed, Pam was killed on the way home from school in a car wreck. The words that were meant for Pam brought comfort to her husband, Danny. And when I called him a couple weeks after the postcard to check on him, I asked him if I could share this story with you all. And so Danny met me at the Ingalls in Cleveland, and we talked to each other. My words comforted him because he knew how much his Pam was loved by Chestatee Academy. But his words reminded me, don't miss an opportunity to build that positive relationship, to say those words that matter, because they might be your last words. Here's our family. Even if it's hard, even if you're not good at it, even if you get off on the wrong foot, don't miss the opportunity. And you have a postcard in front of you. You could tack it up on the wall as a visual reminder, hey, build that positive relationship today. You could take a moment and write it out to someone who just needs those words of encouragement today. You could be the least likely source of encouragement for somebody. But don't miss the opportunity to build a relationship. Pam and Denny's last words to each other were, "I love you." What will be your last words? Thank you.